No, I am the only person that sees this. Doesn't see anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
That's it, we're talking about.
So
During the commercial.
Yeah.
Well, welcome everyone. We have some new people. So why don't we just go around real quickly and go names in. I'll start, we'll go this way.
All right.
Christian?
Diane?
Annie, Joanna,
Cindy?
John.
Jennifer,
Natalia.
Karen?
Jim.
No lessons, and you know what? After tonight, hopefully you will address no one by name other than Christ ever again. How's that?
Yeah.
Is that a good idea? Everyone you see is just yourself. Today, we're in chapter 13, and I believe we're in the section called Finding the Present. Does that sound right?
Yes.
oh
And we're going to go into some really neat sections.
where is it? Chapter what?
It's on chapter 13.
Page,
In my book, it's page 233. But in some other people's books, I think it's like
250.
250.
Called the Bill List?
No, it's called Finding the Present.
Oh, mine is really bad.
Chapter 13. Try 250.
Yeah.
How about this one?
Mine's
Finding the
290.
Present in the Bill List
290.
world. I feel like
Good.
no, mine is.
Ah, okay. Endeavor Academy.
Keep
All
going
right.
back. The Guiltless World, okay, that's the right
This is
chapter.
chapter. Oh, it is?
That's the right chapter.
We actually have
So that's,
4 different.
Finding the
section
Present.
6, so one,
Isn't that-
Chapter 13.
keep going.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
Fifth?
I have that too.
Yeah, 5.
We did the Boston song last time, Finding the Present.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
So here we are.
I think I can look at this all.
Yeah, tonight, I hope to get through this section and the next
Oh.
section, because we're going to talk a little bit about our perceptions here in time, and then we're going to get into the real world, a little bit of the real world, which is a lovely part. So, and if there's any questions at all, you're always welcome questions for anybody else. I suppose. Is that music okay for everyone? I can close the door.
Yeah, we can close it.
How many here are actually reading the course on
Yeah. First.
Good. That's a good. Do you find it uplifting? Yeah. Confusing?
Yes.
At times. Yeah. Okay. Something that I always try to do, and I wanted to mention this, because a lot of times people will say things and what they say is perfect, it's really lovely. But I found that when I'm going through this, I always try to take it to the highest point, okay, to the greatest point, so that it gives everyone the full breath. And even that's not ultimate, but that's just where I am, okay, in terms of when I'm expressing it. And when I do that, then it doesn't mean that what anyone else is saying isn't perfect and right on, because it is. It's just that I open to broaden it out so that when you read it on your own, you can always look for something more in it. That type of thing. It's like, and that's how I learned. I learned from someone who just came right from the top. He just literally says, hey, this world isn't real, boom, okay, and read right through this. Okay, and everything that he expressed in that was only that. So then everything that I had coming from the world into what he was presenting and then into what the truth of the Course is actually presenting, then left me all of this space in which to grow. All of this huge place in which to expand into and flow into, until finally, you become one with what everything is, and you can share that oneness with everything. So if I get too lofty, it's okay.
Okay.
Finding the present. To perceive truly is to be aware of all reality through the awareness of your own. But for this, no illusions can rise to meet your sight, for reality leaves no room for any error. This means that you perceive a brother only as you see him now. His past has no reality in the present, so you cannot see it. Your past reactions to him also are not there. And if it is to them that you react, you see but an image of him that you made and cherish instead of him. In your questioning of illusions, ask yourself if it is really sane to perceive what was as now. If you remember the past as you look upon your brother, you will be unable to perceive the reality that is now. And that's what we do. When we talked about this, everything that we see, everyone that we see, we always judge in relationship to what?
Our past experiences.
Our past experiences. You are female because female is, I was taught what female is different from male. You are a person, you are an adult, you're a child, you're an adolescent, you're all these things, okay? You're a worker, you're rich, you're poor, all of that. And all of that are judgments that I make on what? On really just nothing at all. It's just things that are going on in my own mind. I can't possibly know, just from meeting you, really what you are in relationship to the world. How could I? I can only try to surmise and come to some sort of an arrangement with my own past ideas, and then I project them out on you. And that, in that sense, then, I'm not with you, am I? No, what am I with?
The past.
Right, and it's an image. I'm with an image that I'm holding in my own mind about you. And it's basically my past, made up of all my past thoughts. It has nothing to do with your brother at all. So how could you possibly love your brother, or extend your brother, or see your brother as who you are, if you're preoccupied with that image that you're holding in your mind about what someone is?
It's okay, it's the world.
Yeah. And then we populate the world that way too, don't we? Yeah. So, to perceive truly is to be aware of all reality through the awareness of your own. Now, that's an incredible thing, because how can we be aware of everything? And still maintain ourselves in a physical relationship and present ourselves as a body in relationship to other bodies floating around in the world. We can't, can we? But there is a way. And that's what this is saying. There is a way to perceive truly, to be aware of all reality. But it has nothing to do with the past. It has to do with you right now. You consider it natural to use your past experience as the reference point from which to judge the present. Yet this is unnatural because it is delusional. When you have learned to look on everyone with no reference at all to the past, either his or yours as you perceive it, you will be able to learn from what you see now. When I can experience you, not in relationship to any past thoughts I have about myself, but experience you now, then you can teach me who I am. That's the only way I will be able to learn who I am. And then that is also why your brother is so important in this. Your brother is your savior because every meeting is an opportunity to do what? To choose, right? Between what? Your past and the present. Yourself as you have defined yourself, or yourself as you are in truth. For the past can cast no shadow to darken the present unless you are afraid of light. And only if you are would you choose to bring darkness with you, and by holding it in your mind, see it as a dark cloud that shrouds your brother and conceals their reality from your sight. What is that cloud? It's all the judgments that you make. It's all the mind machinations that are going on that literally are nothing. The darkness is in you. The Christ, as revealed to you now, has no past, for he is changeless, and in his changelessness lies your release. For if he is as he was created, there is no guilt in him. No cloud of guilt has risen to obscure him, and he stands revealed in everyone you meet, because you see him through himself. In other words, you become the Christ as soon as you recognize that everything is presented through the eyes of Christ, through the light of Christ. If you recognize the light and love, peace and joy and the light of God through your brother, within your brother, where are you experiencing it? Within yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how to do it. If you recognize your brother as a body or someone who to be basically that's somehow separate from you, then what are you? Separate. The cloud, to be born again is to let the past go and look without condemnation on the present. The cloud that obscures God's Son to you is the past. That's incredible. The cloud that obscures God's Son to you is the past. And if you would have it past and gone, you must not see it now. If you see it now in your illusions, it is not gone from you, although it is not there. And that's a key statement. The past is literally gone. Even in our sense of time, which isn't really sequential, but we somehow believe it is, we maintain a continuity of time. We say we grow from small to big and so on, right? Okay? But where is our childhood? It's gone.
Yeah.
And not and any part of it that we managed to keep has been colored with every experience that's ever happened ever since then.
Mm-hmm.
And literally changed. So even, it's not even in our own mind like it was then. It's changed. It's all an illusion. But yet we use that, don't we? We use that to define ourselves now. Time can release as well as imprison, depending on whose interpretation of it you use. Past, present, and future are not continuous unless you force continuity on them. You can perceive them as continuous and make them so for you, but do not be deceived. For then believe that this is how it is. And do not be believed, and then believe that this is how it is. For to believe reality is what you would have it be according to your use for it is delusional. Isn't it? Yeah. If I want you to be something to me, okay, that's just a delusional idea, and I'm going to project everything that I can bring up from my past onto you to try to somehow make you fit into the image that I want you to be. But it's got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with what is true. It's just my beliefs then. You would destroy time's continuity by breaking it into past, present, and future for your own purposes. You would anticipate the future on the basis of your past experiences and plan for it accordingly. Yet by doing so, you are aligning past and future and not allowing the miracle which could intervene between them to free you to be born again. What do? We take our past, make our future. Where's the present? Even our present now is already past. Isn't it? It's like every time we position ourselves anywhere, it's already gone. We've already taken the next step and done what? Looked at ourselves in relationship to where we are, where we thought we were, and it's changed.
So you think the people with Alzheimer's are one step ahead of us?
What is Alzheimer's?
Just like senility.
Again, though, it's a thought in your mind, isn't
Yes.
it? Yes, it is.
Well, it's a physical condition.
And where were you when you thought of it?
It's a physical
Yeah.
condition. I can't argue with that.
In your own mind, thinking of someone who had Alzheimer's. I mean, as soon as you said it, my thoughts automatically went to someone that I knew that had
Yes, my
Alzheimer's.
mom.
Sure. Okay? So what happens? We're not here anymore, are we? We popped into our own mind, we're looking at our past, and that's where we are, literally. And that's where some of our experiences. And some people will have sadness, some people will have sympathy, compassion, all those things. Some people will try to be intuitive and figure it out. Okay, and say, hey, maybe it's this, maybe that's, maybe they're going back to being true because they're forgetting the world.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We always try to do what? We try to justify it in some way, everything that's going on. Now, is that the case?
We don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay? Who knows? But I would say only this. Do you want to get Alzheimer's to find out? No. Why not just what? Relinquish your past and come into your now, right now. Why not come into the realization that you are much greater than anything that could suffer any sort of depreciating illness or condition of a body that really doesn't exist to begin with? Of a body that you've only temporarily identified yourself with.
Not only that, but when you're presented with somebody who, it's stated has Alzheimer's or for whatever reason, you can just look on that person with love and see them as, the Christ.
Absolutely. And
you
experience.
can, even if somebody's telling you they have Alzheimer's, it's like, if they're telling you that, you can just say, I really don't understand what this is for, and kind of hand it over to God, but then just continually, open up your heart. And this is a true thing. This is a true thing about Alzheimer's that I happen to know is, even when they're at their worst, they have a very high sense of connection and a high sense of fear, anger, like emotions. So if you extend love to somebody who has Alzheimer's and they're in a bad place, they get that. And you can see a response from them. And it's a true thing. So, at the deepest level, even if they have no memories, they still feel that essence of, emotion.
Sure. And they're still trying to communicate.
Right, and they feel that essence of communication. And they can tell if you're sincere with them. So, I'm sure, you may have experienced that as well. But it's just it's a cool thing. It's like if you're presented with it, Just say, hey, I'm being presented with this. I don't know why I'm thinking of it as Alzheimer's. I'm just gonna hand that idea over to God and let God create a new frame of reference for that for me and just see them as a Christ and see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I've been working with that kind of thing
Good advice.
lately. No, it's just practice.
I forget where I am, so I'll
Sorry.
start. The miracle.
The miracle
The miracle enables you to see your brother without his past, and so perceive him as born again. His errors are all past, and by perceiving him without them, you are releasing him. It's forgiveness. Huh? And since his past is yours, you share this release. All forgiveness is self-forgiveness. Let no cloud, no dark cloud out of your past obscure him from you, for truth lies only in the present, and you will find it if you seek it there. You have looked for it where it is not, and therefore have not found it. Learn then to seek it where it is, and it will dawn on eyes that see. Your past was made in anger, and if you use it to attack the present, you will not see the freedom that the present holds. Finally, this nature, the idea of this fundamentally is based upon anger. Just in very nature that you're searching for something else, says what? You're not happy with what this is. Yeah, you're not satisfied with what this is. You're saying there's got to be another way. There's got to be something else. Right? You can call it intuition, you can call it inquisitiveness, you can call it curiosity, or you can call, but basically, fundamentally, there is still going to be that underlying frustration with where you are. Until you realize that, hey, I'm not here.
Well, if you think about all the chatter your mind goes through the day, it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
What,
And it's not peaceful, is it? Stillness.
No.
Yeah. Judgment and condemnation are behind you, and unless you bring them with you, you will see that you are free of them. Look lovingly upon the present, for it holds the only things that are forever true. All healing lies within it because its continuity is real. It extends to all aspects of the sonship at the same time, and thus enables them to reach each other. The present is before time was and will be when time is no more. In it are all things that are eternal, and they are one. Their continuity is timeless, and their communication is unbroken, for they are not separated by the past. Only the past can separate, and it is nowhere. So here we have a good example, or a good conceptual example of what true beingness is. And the lovely thing about it is if you are that beingness, everything that you are is expanded out into everywhere, all the time. And literally allows for communication not only with yourself, between yourself and others, but between others and others. Because communication is the nature of beingness. It's the nature of oneness. The present offers you your brothers in the light that would unite you with them and free you from the past. Would you then hold the past against them? For if you do, you are choosing to remain in the darkness that is not there, and refusing to accept the light that is offered you. For the light of perfect vision is freely given as it is freely received, and can be accepted only without limit. In this one, still dimension of time that does not change, and where there is no sight of what you were, you looked at Christ and called his witnesses to shine on you because you called them forth. They will not deny the truth in you because you looked for it in them and found it there. Isn't that lovely? Now is the time of salvation, for now is the release from time. Now. Now. Reach out to all your brothers and touch them with the touch of Christ. And what is that reaching all about? It's reach out.
Communicate.
Yeah. Love. Extend. Reach out with your heart, with the essence of what you are to all your brothers.
But by doing that, it's just basically saying that you're willing to look at your brother in the present.
Yeah.
That's how you reach out. You're not really reaching out. You're not losing your energy or extending your energy. You're literally just staying in the moment and being willing to see your brother with no judgments, with no past, right?
Yeah. And it's experiential. In timeless union with them is your continuity, unbroken because it is wholly shared. God's guiltless Son is only light. There is no darkness in him anywhere, for he is whole. Call all your brothers to witness to his wholeness, as I am calling you to join with me. Each voice has a part in the song of redemption, the hymn of gladness and thanksgiving for the light to the Creator of light. The holy light that shines forth from God's Son is the witness that his light is of his Father. This is incredibly mystical if you think about it. Okay? This gets into the mysticism of the spirituality of the Course. Okay? You are a spiritual being. You are the light of the universe. Shine on your brothers in remembrance of your Creator, for you will remember him as you call forth the witnesses to his creation. Those whom you heal bear witness to your healing, for in their wholeness you will see your own. And as your hymns of praise and gladness rise to your Creator, he will return your thanks in his clear answer to your call. For it can never be that his Son called upon him and remained unanswered. His call to you is but your call to him, and in him you are answered by his peace. The inherent nature of beingness is what brings this about. This isn't something literal. It seems to be something that you do, but it isn't. It's what you are. It's like you recognize, oh, I am the light of the universe. Thank you, Creator, Almighty God, Father, however you want to express them. Okay? Thank you for what? Extending yourself and making me as I am. Now, as I'm thanking him, he's thanking me. Why? Because the thought of gratitude is inherent in what everything is. Wow. And in that embrace, I am embraced as he is embraced. Child of light.
My favorite part.
This is so beautiful. This is so. Child of light, you know not that the light is in you. Yet you will find it through its witnesses, for having given light to them, they will return it. Each one you see in light brings your light closer to your awareness. Love always leads to love. The sick who ask for love are grateful for it, and in their joy they shine with holy thanks. For this they offer you who gave them joy. They are guides to joy, for having received it of you, they would keep it. You have established them as guides to peace, for you have made it manifest in them, and seeing it, its beauty calls you home. You are what light is. Light has no divergencies. Light is what everything is. There is no such thing as darkness. Darkness is a thought outside of light, and it's in total what? Conflict with the idea of light. The only way there could be darkness is what? Is if something is blocking the light. What could be blocking the light if light is what everything is?
The ego.
A thought. Right. The thought. That's it. That's the only thing that could possibly be blocking the light,
It's just a cloud.
which ends up being a cloud. All those thoughts coming together. And really, they don't even, but that doesn't mean the light isn't there. The light is still there. What is it? It's just that we can't see it because of what? All the thoughts that we have going on that we use to maintain ourselves here.
It's like when you're in a plane, you know, and you're above the clouds and it's really bright, you know, and then all of a sudden you dip down below the clouds and the sun disappears and you're like, oh my gosh,
You're like,
where did
"Oh,
it go? But then you go back up again and you're like, oh, the light's still there. It's like, it's still there, you know, you just can't see it. All those thought forms are all these little cloudy, you know, makes your mind cloudy, gives you a brain
brain cloud.
cloud.
Go talk to Tom Hanks about a brain cloud.
Joe versus the volcano.
It is really cool.
You
Joe
do.
versus a volcano.
That's a good.
He's diagnosed with a brain cloud.
one.
And the guy defined brain cloud as there's a thin film between both sides of his brain, so they can't communicate with each other. Okay, it's like a cloud.
It's cute.
It's a split
Oh
mind.
my god, the old movie, old Tom Hanks movie. Joe versus the volcano.
That was a good musical.
Meg Ryan.
That
Joe
movie's got
versus
so
the
much on it.
volcano. It's
Never
very.
heard of that.
Really? It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's so good.
I'll never forget that place where he works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the worst
Everything's a
possible
zigzag.
work
We're gonna have
environment
to
you
get
can
it now.
imagine.
Sure.
It's a good one. It's got a
Yeah.
lot in it, a lot of mystical stuff that you could have so much fun with it.
Cool.
Yes, you can. Are we ready? There is a light that this world cannot give, yet you can give it as it was given you. If the world can't give it, but you can, it must be that you're not in the world. And as you give it, it shines forth to call you from the world and follow it. For this light will attract you as nothing in this world can do. And you will lay aside the world and find another. This other world is bright with love, which you have given it. And here will everything remind you of your Father and his Holy Son. Light is unlimited and spreads across this world in quiet joy. All those you brought with you will shine on you, and you will shine on them in gratitude because they brought you here. Your light will join with theirs in power so compelling that it will draw the others out of darkness as you look upon them. If you see your brother holy, truly, in the light of Christ, your brother cannot not be but anything but the Christ.
Right.
Your brother has to be the Christ if you look on your brother as the Christ. He cannot be any different than you see him. Now, your seeing him that way allows him to recognize it within himself. And he cannot recognize it within himself until you see him that way. If you see him as a body, okay, as something that's going to die, then he must recognize himself as a body. He has to. Because why? You are presenting him with a mirror of what he is. You are bringing him into the frame of reference of that reality through your acceptance of it as your own. So if you see your brother as the Christ, he has to see himself in that reality. He can deny it, but his subsequent denial of your recognition of his Christhood is meaningless to you. And there will come a time when he won't deny it. And when he doesn't deny it, you both are in heaven. Wow. And that's the path. That's the journey. That's what this is all about.
Can I share something that I got from this section? Or you want to
Sure, go ahead.
Are you on a roll? Okay. Well, what I got from this section is all those you brought with you will shine on you, and you will shine on them in gratitude because they brought you here. So in my mind, you know how people say, oh, I came from a bad family. I had all these bad experiences in my family. You know, I had all these bad experiences with a certain group of people. You know, it's literally like all those people, all those experiences you had brought you to where you are now. So understanding that, you know, whether it was pain that brought you here or dysfunction or some sort of, you know, whatever it is, it brought you here, and you have complete and total gratitude for that because you find yourself in the moment and you found yourself, you know, doing this and being aware of your light, so all you can do is bless them with your light.
So what I'm
this
hearing is that
section
anyone that you've ever met in your past, that you're hanging on to in your past, your function is really to see them as perfect, whole, and complete,
Yeah.
an extension of who you are. And then in doing so,
Right.
as you say,
And in your
you become that.
transformation of your own mind at that particular moment in time, you literally transform all of them as well.
Absolutely.
They may not be aware of it, but it doesn't matter. You
This
know?
is an
That's a cool
important
thing.
point, because what it says is what? Time is not sequential. You are not limited by time.
Right.
If you think of Joe and so such and such, who actually, you know, was in somehow in your past, and you see that consciousness, regardless of whatever memory associations you may have about them, if you can relinquish those and see him in the light, he literally is in the light, and he will experience that now.
Right.
Okay? He may not know where it's coming from. He may not be able to identify it because his frame of reference may not be, what, in the place where he is in the light. But the experience will be real for him. Okay? Jesus says this in another place where he says, anyone who can think of you, or anyone you think of, and anyone who thinks of you, you're experiencing the same thing all the time. We say that if we experience pain and suffering, that somehow we're the only ones experiencing it. Not true. Why? Because it's a thought. It's literally an energetic
Yeah.
thought.
It's
And
an
it's
energy
activated by
configuration.
the thoughts that you carry. And there will be those that you have in your mind that's associated with that thought, and they will experience that. They may identify it and attach it to something else that in the frame of reference. And then it makes what? It makes that frame of reference real to them.
That's why they say, you know, be careful what you ask for. Be careful, you know, because literally you're asking, your thoughts have power. Your thoughts, you know, is an energy configuration that moves and communicates and creates waves, you know, throughout ripples, throughout the universe. You know, and they've proven it scientifically as well as metaphysically. You know, it's like, it has real effects.
So waking unto Christ is following the laws of love of your free will and out of quiet recognition of the truth in them. The attraction of light must draw you willingly, and willingness is signified by giving. Those who accept love of you become your willing witnesses to the love you gave them, and it is they who hold it out to you. If you love someone and they accept your love, what does that mean?
That it's whole.
They're extending love to you, aren't they? So now you are one in love. In sleep, you are alone, and your awareness is narrowed to yourself. And that is why the nightmares come. Your dream of isolation because you dream of isolation because your eyes are closed. You do not see your brothers, and in the darkness you cannot look upon the light you gave to them. And yet the laws of love are not suspended because you sleep. And you have followed them through all your nightmares and have been faithful in your giving, for you were not alone. Even in sleep has Christ protected you, ensuring the real world for you when you awake. In your name, he has given for you and given you the gifts he gave. God's Son is still as loving as his Father, continuous with his Father. He has no past apart from him. So he has never ceased to be his Father's witness and his own. Although he slept, Christ's vision did not leave him. And it is that he can, and so it is that he can call unto himself the witnesses that teach him that he never slept. In other words, this never happened. You're sleeping, you're dreaming in your own mind, going through all these things. It goes back to like that, I think I told, some of you may have been here, I said about that one vision that I had where, of the garden, the little boy and his father, and he goes out and he takes a bite of the apple. Okay, and he comes back into his room because he's got this apple. It's one thing his father told him not to do. Don't take a bite of the apple. Right? So he's got this apple, he goes into his room, and he feels bad about it. He doesn't want to tell his dad that he took a bit of the apple. And while he's feeling bad about it, literally he fell asleep in his room. And he's sleeping in his room. And he's trying to dream, because he's consumed in guilt, he's dreaming about all these things that way he can prove to his dad that he's a good guy, even though he took a bite of the apple. Okay? So what does he do? He creates an entire world in his own mind to what? To make himself look better. And in doing so, the only way he can do that is to do what? Create others that are also stuck like himself and make them look worse than him. And that's the world. That's the projection that's going on. And in the meantime, his father, he comes down the hall, and he sort of opens the door a little bit, and he sees his son sleeping there. He thinks, gosh, he's sleeping, Wish he'd wake up, let go play some baseball or something, Closes the door, walks back down to his room, and he's sitting there, and the boy is going on, and he's dreaming. His dream is getting bigger and bigger, and the father comes down again a little bit later, opens the door, and when he opens the door, the light from the hallway comes in, flashes on him. And the little boy goes, phew, in his dream. But to him, in his dream, all he has is what? He has this flash of light that came in. He goes, wow, what was that? Because what? It was something that was outside of the realm of his frame of reference. He's caught in the world, okay, trying to make everything better. Okay? So what does he do? He sort of ignores it and goes back to sleep. Falls back into his dream of conquest and conflict and all these things. His father comes back down a little bit later, opens the door, peeks in, goes in. It happens again, this flash of light. Wow, what is that? Maybe there's something else. He's getting this flash of light and it's coming in from something else, isn't it? Okay? But he doesn't have a frame of reference for it. So then he starts looking for it. He just starts trying to be aware of it a little bit. And this goes on until finally, he just sort of wakes up. He gets out of bed, he walks out, and he opens the door to the hallway, and the light's on in the hallway, and he walks out in the hallway, and walks down, finds his dad, and his dad says, hey, you've been sleeping, pal, what have you been up to? He says, oh, Dad, I had this dream. He just climbs into his father's lap and feels all warm. He's at home. See, but the light that was there was always there. His father never had any idea of what was going on in his mind. His father didn't even know what he did. And what of the apple? Buried under the blanket somewhere, who knows? You know, it's like it's gone. He doesn't even remember the apple as he goes down there. He's just be thankful because he woke up and he's sitting in his dad's lap. The light is always there. Your father is always waiting for you. Waiting for that hug, you know, waiting for that joy. Waiting for the extension of himself. Attainment of the real world. Are you ready?
I'm ready to
Are we there yet? Sit quietly and look upon the world you see and tell yourself, the real world is not like this. It has no buildings and there are no streets where people walk alone and separate. There are no stores where people buy an endless list of things they do not need. It is not lit with artificial light, and night comes not upon it. There is no day that brightens and grows dim. There is no loss. Nothing is there but shines and shines forever. There is a world. There is a real world. It's very bright. It shines and shines forever. The world you see must be denied, for sight of it is costing you a different kind of vision. You cannot see both worlds. For each of them involves a different kind of seeing and depends on what you cherish. The sight of one is possible because you have denied the other. Both are not true, yet either one will seem as real to you as the amount to which you hold it dear. And yet their power is not the same because their real attraction to you is unequal. So what are we saying here? How many thoughts can you have at once?
One.
And isn't the thought that you hold going to be the frame of reference you use for your seeing? And what we're saying here is that there's different ways of seeing. Okay? Literally, you can see with these eyes if you want, or you can see with who you are. You can see with the spiritual nature of your being. It's experiential. It has a frame of reference. And that's why Jesus says both are not true. Because even that isn't true. But it's the closest you can come to still being in an awareness of yourself in reality with everything else. You do not really want the world you see, for it has disappointed you since time began. The homes you built have never sheltered you. The roads you made have led you nowhere, and no city that you built has withstood the crumbling assault of time. Nothing you made but has the mark of death upon it. Hold it not dear, for it is old and tired and ready to return to dust even as you made it. This aching world has not the power to touch the living world at all. You could not give it that, and so although you turn in sadness from it, you cannot find in it the road that leads away from it into another world. In other words, you cannot correct the problem at the level of the problem. You cannot find a way out of this if this is what you believe you are. Transformation is inherent. It's like a whew, It's literally a flip. Okay? One knows not of the other. But there are literally different ways of seeing, and we know that already, don't we? We see people emotionally, don't we? Don't we feel something when someone else is crying, when someone else is in pain? Don't we feel that? Isn't that an emotional way of seeing? Okay? We see people perceptually, mentally, okay, which is basically just using our past to look through these eyes and determine what they are. There is another way of seeing that's got nothing to do with this. But you have to know who you are. You have to come into the awareness of who you are and recognize it as that. Now the beautiful part is, you've all been doing this. Everyone here has been doing this. You have all had experiences that have brought you to what? A different frame of reference. Okay? And then what do? Because we're caught into this, so deep into this, we then try to what? Bring it into some sort of a thing. We try to make Alzheimer's a way out. Okay? We justify it in relationship to it. We try to make it fit. That's what we do. Don't try to make it fit. Okay? Don't tell it what it is in relationship to your past thoughts. Let it be something totally new to you. Ask, what is this? What is this? One moment, in one moment, that will change to, instead of what is this, it'll be, oh, this is what I am. Then, everything really starts beginning, because then communication is, you're like a baby. You're learning how to communicate from a frame of reference that has nothing to do with this. It's really a cool thing. Okay? But this is the path of the Course. This is what the at-one-ment principle is. We say what? Ask. Ask the one who knows and knows who you are. The answer is always there. Yet the real world has the power to touch you even here because you love it. And what you call with love will come to you. Love always answers, being unable to deny a call for help or not to hear the cries of pain that rise to it from every part of this strange world you made, but do not want. All that you need to give this world away in glad exchange for what you did not make is willingness to learn the one you made is false. In other words, it's okay to think that the one you made is false. It doesn't mean it's good or it's bad, and you don't have to do anything about it. You just have to be able to accept it and say, okay, well, if this is false, I can't be false, so what is it that I'm really seeing? And then you ask, what is it that I'm really seeing? And the answer will come. When you ask as if you really want the answer. That's key. And then wait for the answer. You have been wrong about the world because you have misjudged yourself. From such a twisted reference point, what could you see? All seeing starts with the perceiver who judges what is true and what is false. That's telling it what it is. And what he judges false, he does not see. You who would judge reality cannot see it, for whenever judgment enters, reality has slipped away. Why? Judgment requires what? Yeah, in your own mind. It requires you bouncing back, looking in there, saying, yeah, this comes, this is that, this is that, this is that. And you cannot have any recognition of anything else but that because you're busy. You're just busy. And it's not good or bad. It's just busy. The out of mind is out of sight. Because what is denied is there but not recognized. Christ is still there, although you know him not. His being does not depend on your recognition. The light is always there. He lives within you in the quiet present and waits for you to leave the past behind and enter into the world he holds out to you in love. No one in this distracted world but has seen some glimpses of the other world about him. Yet while he still lays value on his own, he will deny the vision of the other, maintaining that he loves what he loves not, and following not the road that love points out. This is what I just said. It's like, if you believe, if you were invested in any part of this, in any way, as defining yourself, then you are caught. That's where you are. And there's no way out. You just won't be able to see anything else. But it's still there waiting for you. Open your heart. Love leads so gladly. As you follow him, you will rejoice what you have found. As you follow him, you will rejoice that you have found his company and learned of him the joyful journey home. Are you ready? You wait but for yourself. To give this sad world over and exchange your errors for the peace of God is but your will. And Christ will always offer you the will of God in recognition that you share it with him. It is God's will that nothing touch his Son except himself, and nothing else comes nigh unto him. He is as safe from pain as God himself, who watches over him in everything. The world about him shines with love because God placed him in himself where pain is not, and love surrounds him without end or flaw. Disturbance of his peace can never be. In perfect sanity, he looks on love, for it is all about him and within him. He must deny the world of pain the instant he perceives the arms of love around him. And from this point of safety, he looks quietly about him and recognizes that the world is one with him. How are we doing so far? Are we doing okay? Okay.
I was just wondering, how would you define the light?
Well, conceptually, you can't. Experientially, it can be present in your life, and is. And it's all at varying stages, but it's always when you are in the presence of a moment of pure connectedness. In a perceptual level, if I had to pick a spot, have you ever stood before a great painting, any kind of painting at all, and just all of a sudden felt this overwhelming experience of just warmth, a rush, maybe chills, maybe the hairs raise up on your arms, all these things, okay? What you're doing is you're connecting literally with all the memory associations and light that is imbued within that picture, which includes everyone who has ever looked at it, includes all of your memory associations that you would have with it, and includes that of the artist, the creator. Have you ever been in a concert? Okay, and all of a sudden, you're at the concert, and everybody's really into it, and the energy is just flowing, and they're holding up the lighters, and encore, and the artist gets up there, and they're singing, and you're just whew, whew, whew. It's a moment of what? Pure connectedness, okay? Of oneness. Now, it's still within a frame of reference, okay? But within there, what you find yourself doing literally is popping in and out of yourself, okay? It's like, those are the moments when the world is still holding that light for you there, and the moments that are there, but still you realize you're at a concert, okay? Okay, and you're here because that is your reality. So you're jumping in and out of an experience back into what? Into this. Now, the more you do that, the more you will come to recognize that that experience is not limited to things outside of yourself. You will come to be able to find that experience within yourself. And when that starts happening, then you're realizing that that is you. The experiential beingness that's going on is what you are. When that happens, you start to find that you extend that beingness. That beingness is manifest everywhere, and you recognize it within everything. You may recognize it within a flower, within a table, within another consciousness, within an animal, within a stone, within a rose. Okay? All of that. Now that is the mind training of the Course. The Course is trying to have you train your mind, or help you train your mind, to recognize that and want that more than this. Okay? Because the more you want that, the more that becomes your reality. That's why we said earlier, you love that. It's beautiful, it's light, it's experiential, okay? It's whole, it's communicative. It's all of those things. It's joyful, it's peaceful. Okay? But it's only those things when it's you. Okay? Now, those moments you keep coming out of that, literally train you so that you're going through a physiological process of transformation. That's what this is. Physiologically, you're training based upon the thoughts that you hold about yourself or within yourself. And then you're training literally your cellular structure to recognize those things too. All this is just cellular memory. All of this is cellular memory. Okay? Literally. You've learned that things grow, that the body is this, you got two legs, you can walk, and it's like, it's what you are. In fact, they say now you cut off your arm, and there are those that still feel their arm, okay? Mm-hmm. It's all cellular memory, but it's held together with your thoughts. Now, if you come into this, okay, this that you are, the more you do that, the more these become literally imbued with light. Cellularly, you become imbued with light. Okay? And you find that mentally your training is now you're always looking for the light. Everything that you see, everything that you perceive as part of yourself is reflecting that same light, including the cellular structure here, the cellular structure here. You'll start walking around and you'll see some consciousnesses that are just so bright. You just recognize them. You can see them, they're bright. Some in the beginning, maybe it'll be experiential. Maybe you'll experience something about them. You feel something about them. So it may be fearful in the beginning. Okay? But as you relinquish more of your judgment, your necessity to protect yourself, you'll find that it's not so fearful and that, wow, it's okay to experience something else. And then it grows and it grows and it grows. Until finally that's what you are and that's all you want. Then, as I said before, you're starting to learn to communicate on that level. As you read, okay, you'll find that The energy starts flowing as soon as you read like a statement of truth. And you go, wow, that's so cool. Okay. So you read more. It's like reading what do they call those paperback, those romance novels or something. You know, you're really into it. You know, you're doing that. Only for you, it'll be truth. It'll be anything that expands your mind, anything that mirrors the same thing that's taking place within your beingness. You are literally expanding your consciousness to include everything, and the more you do it, the more you will take everything you see and place it within that frame of reference, as opposed to the frame of reference of the physical universe. You'll start reading scientific journals, you know, David Bohm, Wholeness, and the Implicate Order. You'll see how everything is working. You know, the Tao, all these things. You'll laugh at them when they say, I'm looking for the Higgs boson, because it's going to tell me basically what? The whole building blocks of the universe. Because you know quite well, the building blocks of the universe is you. It's contained within you, and it's so much more than that. You'll know that as soon as you think of something, there's no way you can separate yourself from the results of what's going on. So even if they find the building blocks of the universe, they can't separate themselves from it, so they're going to what? Skew the results. Anything that they see in it is going to be that. Now they say mathematics is pure, and it might be. And I'll plead ignorance. I'll leave it to the scientists. But, you know, even I was watching, I think I mentioned this once before, I was watching an article about the search for the Higgs boson. And the interviewer asked this one consciousness, this one scientist, he says, how are you going to feel if they find it? He says, I'm incredibly sad. He said, I feel useless. I spent my entire life looking for this. What am I going to do if this turns out to be true? My life is basically done. That's
And what is it?
literally what he said.
Oh,
Here's what you were talking about.
The Higgs boson, finding the building blocks of light, of the universe. of
Particle
order.
they're searching for at the Hadron Collider.
Yeah, the Hadron Collider, the big
All
colliders
the
that they
smallest.
make, and all those things, mathematics. And he said, that's what he said. He says, you know what, it's like, I've been searching for it all my life. What am I going to do then if I find it? We are so afraid of finding completion. But it's an unfounded fear. It's a fear because it's a fear of something that we say is unknown. Okay? But it's only unknown because our frame of reference is here. It becomes known to us as soon as we transform our frame of reference and our point of view. As soon as we come into the experience of who we are, we start seeing everything from that. That changes. Is that the end all, the be all? Who knows? Even Jesus in Course says, hey, I can only take you so far. Okay? I can at least take you to the point where I can take you to the real world, which is a place where time and space seem to exist still, but without the necessary judgments associated with it. There's no need to judge. Everyone is perfect in that sense. Everyone is a reflection of the light of what everything is. And that's as far as I can take it. The last step is taken by God, but he takes it when you say so. When you lose that final fear, that deep, inherent fear, that's when it happens. But boy, that fear's way down there. You know, we got a lot of digging to go before we get there, right? Where am I?
Peace of God.
The peace of God?
Okay.
Where?
Yeah. 8.
The peace of God passeth your understanding only in the past. Yet here it is, and you can understand it now. God loves his Son forever, and his Son returns his Father's love forever. The real world is the way that leads you to remembrance of the one thing that is wholly true and wholly yours. For all else you have lent yourself in time, and it will fade. But this one thing is always yours, being the gift of God unto his Son. Your one reality was given you, and by it God created you as one with him. We're talking about your reality, what you are. You will first dream of peace, then awaken to it. Your first exchange of what you made for what you want is the exchange of nightmares for the happy dreams of love. In these lie your true perceptions, for the Holy Spirit corrects the world of dreams where all perception is. Knowledge needs no correction, yet the dreams of love lead unto knowledge. In them you see nothing fearful, and because of this they are welcome. They are the welcome that you offer knowledge. Love waits on welcome, not on time. And the real world is but your welcome of what always was. The real world is present now. But it's now. It's nothing back there, it's nothing out there, and it's not what you're using to get there. It's now. Praise then the Father for the perfect sanity of his most holy Son. Your Father knoweth that you have need of nothing. In heaven this is so, for what could you need in eternity? In your world you do need things. It is a world of scarcity in which you find yourself because you are lacking. We define ourselves by the things that we don't have. Yet can you find yourself in such a world? Without the Holy Spirit, the answer would be no. Yet because of him, the answer is a joyous yes. And here's the Holy Spirit. As mediator between the two worlds, he knows what you have need of and what will not hurt you. Ownership is a dangerous concept if it is left up to you. The ego wants to have things for salvation, for possession is its law. Possession for its own sake is the ego's fundamental creed, a basic cornerstone in the churches it builds to itself. And at its altar, it demands you lay all the things that bid you get, leaving you no joy in them. In other words, what is the altar of the ego finally? The body, and ultimately death. Okay. That's the ego. It says everything that the ego gives you, everything that you strive to get for, to identify yourself in the world, what? Dissipates in time. But the Holy Spirit knows what won't hurt you. So ask him. And let him change your perception of everything. In other words, you don't have to judge anything as being good or bad. That's not what the Course is trying to do. The Course is trying to say, hey, stop defining it as good or bad, as helpful or not helpful. Okay? Relinquish the necessity to define it and ask the one who really knows. His answer will have nothing to do with what you're trying to determine. His answer will be the experiential nature in which you find yourself. His answer will be the joy that you are as God created you. His answer will be that you are the extension of what creation is. Then what happens to everything that you're trying to judge? It isn't. That's where joy is. And joy is in the moment. It's just in the moment. And it can happen anywhere, any moment. Yeah.
What is joy?
Yeah. That's joy.
What? Say that again.
That. Whatever fulfills you in the moment, that's your joy. But it's not what that fulfills you, it's the experience of fulfillment that is manifest within you in the moment. Because that's what you are. That's what it releases you from the contraction. It releases you from the necessity to be a definition of something else.
That is true about joy. I never really thought about it. It literally can only be experienced
Yes.
in the true sense of what it is. It's just, you can't conceptualize
define
it. No, you have to experience it.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what joy is. It's so weird. I never thought of it.
But it's always whatever fulfills you in that moment.
Yeah. What's up?
Joy.
Complete
Joy
experience.
is gratitude inherent in that? Absolute. Is peace inherent in that? Absolute. Is it communicative? Absolute.
And it has light.
Is it light? Absolute. In other words, there's no degrees to it. If you experience something, okay, the only time it's not a completely whole experience is when you do what?
Block it.
Judge the
Think about
experience.
it, yeah.
Think about it. Try to define it in
Define
some
it.
way.
Yeah.
But while it was the experience,
Yeah.
wasn't it
Define what?
everything?
Don't you think most of them are spontaneous too?
Absolutely.
True,
Oh, sure. What is defined as spontaneity? As spontaneous.
The moment.
The
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
It's really, it's really a lot of fun once you start getting into it. Okay? It's like you go, wow, this, phew, and looking for it as you just being open to it, and you can say,
Yeah.
wow, I feel great. Why not? Just feel great. I don't feel great because I just had a really good cup of coffee. I don't feel great because I just got kissed by somebody I love. I don't feel great because, whatever it is. Okay? I feel great. Feel great. Feel the joy. Experience the joy. As soon as you attach it to anything, it's going to come down a notch. And then where your mind is out there again. Boy, the ego is, it's just, you give it just one little tiny bit, man, and it opens the door to a slide that's so easy just to slide down into.
Yeah.
That's the ego. And we don't realize it. As soon as we step out of our joy, out of our experiential nature, we're defined. And as soon as we are defined, there is no limit to the definitions that we can impose upon ourselves and will. And we're out of it.
Well, as soon as you define something, you limit it. You've
And yourself.
created a parameter
You
around
limited
it.
yourself.
Right.
All definition is limiting by nature. It's also separating by nature, which is what limitation is. If there's a you and there's a me, okay, then I am limited, right? There's a you. There's something else. If there's something else at all, there's like a wall between me and the something
Right.
else.
But once you find yourself in a state of duality, definition is what makes you feel secure.
Well, and that's the ego.
Right.
And that's why the ego's giving you all the
But
things
that's
that you
why
really
it's so
never
hard
wanted.
to let things go.
It is.
Because
Isn't
it's
the
like-
ego part of you?
The ego is the idea that you can be separate from something else. That's all it is.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's not good. It's not bad. Okay? I mean, even Jesus, of course, they don't condemn the ego. He says, no, you can't condemn the ego because every time you do, you're empowering it in your own mind. Okay? So what do? You go to God. You go to the light. You ask the Holy Spirit for what you are. Where's the ego? It never existed. In that moment. It's just a thought. The ego is just a thought. But any thought that you hold about yourself is going to be what you are. It's going to be the frame of reference from what you perceive everything. It will show you where you are perceiving, what you are perceiving. It will define you. Be undefinable.
Amen.
Amen.
That's good. It could be like that. What's the person like? I don't know, I can't define it.
That's right. Well, there you go. I don't know, but it feels good. I'm having a great time. Wow, cool. Praise then. Is that where we are? Yes. Praise then the Father for this perfect sanity of his most holy Son. Your Father knoweth that you have need of nothing. I already read this.
Yeah, you read that.
Okay. You ready? Everything the ego tells you that you need will hurt you. For although the ego urges you again and again to get, it leaves you nothing. For what you get, it will demand of you. Okay? You're going to die. He's going to take it back. And even from the very hands that grasped it, it will be wrenched and hurled into the dust. For where the ego sees salvation, it sees separation. And so you lose whatever you have gotten in its name. The ego is just the idea of separation, that something can be separate. If it can be separate, you can lose it. If it's separate, you need to do something to attain it. For where the ego sees salvation, it sees separation, and so you lose whatever you have gotten in its name. Therefore, ask not of yourself what you need, for you do not know, and your advice to yourself will hurt you. You got that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because why? The frame of reference that you're using is that of the ego.
Can't solve a problem at the level.
You cannot solve the problem at the level of the problem because all you can see is the problem.
I know that.
All the solutions that you come up with, they're all defined in relationship to what? A problem.
So we'll never be able to figure out why we're here.
Just realize that you don't have a
As long as you
problem.
see that.
What's here? What is it here? Where is here? What is here? This isn't here.
So if there's a problem, you're supposed to say there is no problem because you see it as a problem, but you just like ignore it and then it'll go away.
No, ask.
What is this?
Ask, what is
Look,
this?
then you're gonna die.
I don't understand what this is.
Right.
What is this? Show me another way to see this.
Is the frustration coming because the ego's trying to fix it? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you as the ego is trying to fix it because,
Because you're
again, the
uncomfortable
ego,
with
if there's
something.
anything separate, you're either attaining it or you're rejecting it. You're either afraid of it or you love it and you want it and you don't have it. That's the nature of separation. Okay? So now you've given yourself something to do, but it's not real. It's an illusion. It's a thought. Here's something I don't have over there.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, first of all, how do I know I don't have it? Well, I said I don't have it. It's over there. So now we have time, don't we? Now, what is time? Time is multidimensional in the sense that, number one, it's over there. Okay, so distance.
Right.
Time is also in the sense of what? It'll take me this long before
In
I
the
can
future.
attain it. Okay? And what am I doing? I'm caught in time. And even when I get there, even when I finally attain it, I can strive for it, I can work for it, I can do all these things. And when I finally get it, what happens? Inevitably, I'm going to lose it, aren't I? But I don't look at that in the beginning. All I see is that it's over there, and I don't have it. And I may even see somebody else has it. See? And see where I am? I'm caught at that, and there's no way out of that, is there? I will indefinitely, I will strive for things I believe I don't have. And in that sense, is it good? No. Is it bad? No, it's just time. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're perfect. Okay? You're just taking a little time off from being perfect. Okay? When you get tired of it, you won't do it anymore.
Mhm.
You'll start saying, you know, there's got to be another way.
Mhm.
And you'll start looking for another way. When you start looking for another way, you know you're making progress. Okay? When you start being tired of all the stuff that's going on in the world, it's, as you said earlier, it's not a bad thing. Okay? It's just showing you that you're finally starting to get tired of what's going on, and you're not accepting it as being a reality. You're not accepting it as being a part of the world that you believe that you are worthy of. Okay? You're literally seeing more value in yourself in doing so. You come to realize that you are wholly, totally valuable. Huh. How many sons did God create? One. Who is it? Take your finger and put it on your nose. It's gotta be you, right? It can't be her. If it's not me, it's gotta be you. God had an idea, creation. Who is that idea? What is that idea? You. You are what was created. God is just a creator. It doesn't matter what he's male, female, I don't, be whatever he is. Okay? Whatever you want to define God as is still fundamentally the creator of everything. It's the idea, you are the idea of creation. That's what you are. Wow. Are there ends to creation? No. Why? Creation is eternal. It doesn't stop. Otherwise, it's not creation. It's something else. Wow, that's what you are. God had you. Just you. And no other. Just you. But the you includes everything. The you is what everything is. That's experiential. That's light. Love, finally, is communication. Love is communication with everything that you are creating, because you were created in the image of your Father. So therefore, you are a co-creator. And all of your creations are what? Your loving thoughts. Wow. Your loving thoughts are manifest and continually remind you of who you are. They are extensions of you, and they are extensions of God. They are extensions of the Creator. Life is that. And it's got nothing to do with the objectification of things. It's what you are. It's experiential. It's exciting. It's peaceful. It's joy. It's Shakti. It's all these things. All right. Getting off. Are you ready?
Refer to it as Shakti.
Okay. For what you think you need will merely serve to tighten up your world against the light and render you unwilling to question the value that this world can really hold for you. Only the Holy Spirit knows what you need. So who else? So who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Okay? Call the Holy Ghost. For he will give you all things that do not block the way to light. And what else could you need? In time, he gives you all the things that you need have and will renew them as long as you have need of them. he will take nothing from you as long as you have any need of it. And yet he knows that everything you need is temporary and will but last until you step aside from all your needs and realize that all of them have been fulfilled. Therefore, he has no investment in the things that he supplies, except to make certain that you will not use them on behalf of lingering in time. He knows that you are not at home there, and he wills no delay to wait upon your joyous homecoming. Leave then your needs to him. He will supply them with no emphasis at all upon them. What comes to you of him comes safely. For he will ensure it can never become a dark spot, hidden in your mind and kept to hurt you. Under his guidance, you will travel light and journey lightly. Isn't that lovely? For his sight is ever on the journey's end, which is his goal. God's Son is not a traveler through outer worlds. There are no outer worlds. However holy his perception may become, no world outside himself holds his inheritance. Within himself he has no needs, for light needs nothing but to shine in peace, and from itself to let the rays extend in the quiet to infinity. Whenever you are tempted to undertake a useless journey that would lead you away from light, remember what you really want and say, "The Holy Spirit leads me unto Christ, and where else would I go? What need have I but to awaken in him?" Then follow him in joy, with faith that he will lead you safely through all dangers to your peace of mind this world may set before you. Kneel not before the altars to sacrifice, and seek not what you will surely lose. Content yourself with what you will as surely keep, and be not restless. For you undertake a quiet journey to the peace of God, where he would have you be in quietness. In me, you have already overcome every temptation that would hold you back. We walk together on the way to quietness that is the gift of God. Hold me dear, for what except your brothers can you need? We will restore to you the peace of mind that we must find together. The Holy Spirit will teach you to awaken unto us and to yourself. This is the only real need to be fulfilled in time. Salvation from the world lies only here. My peace I give you. Take it of me in glad exchange for all the world has offered but to take away, and we will spread it like a veil of light across the world's sad face, in which we hide our brothers from the world and it from them. We cannot sing redemption's hymn alone. My task is not completed until I have lifted every voice with mine. This is Christ speaking. And yet it is not mine, for it is as my gift to you. For as it is my gift to you, so was it the Father's gift to me, given me through his Spirit. The sound of it will banish sorrow from the mind of God's most holy Son, where it cannot abide. Healing in time is needed, for joy cannot establish its eternal reign where sorrow dwells. You dwell not here, but in eternity. You travel but in dreams, while safe at home. that is just so lovely. Give thanks to every part of you that you have taught how to remember you. Thus does the Son of God give thanks unto his Father for his purity. Again, you dwell not here, but in eternity. You travel, but in dreams, while safe at home. Give thanks to every part of you that you have taught how to remember you. Everything is designed explicitly to remind you of who you are in truth.
Right.
Everything.
Every part of you, it's not just every part of your body, it's every part, everything you see.
Every
Every
thought that you
experience
hold,
you have.
everything you perceive, everything is holding a gift for you. The gift is the awareness of who you are in truth. That's what will be given. These last two sections, incredibly more mystical aspects of the Course. Okay? It really gets into it. There are other sections too that I'm going to get into, especially when you get into the great rays, the real world, and all those things. But all of it is relevant. And now we're going to take some quiet. Just 10 minutes. Take a little time out for yourself. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Just relax. You know, it all worked perfectly.